Hey everyone, welcome to Onwards with Dr. Danielle. Today we are here to explore a heavy and needed concept, healing from betrayal. For those of you who are joining in for the first time, I'm your host, Dr. Danielle, business professor, dog mama, cat mama, intuitive life coach, psychic medium, wife, and so much more. If you're live, thank you so much for joining. We're here every Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Hang tight after the show. I'm going to be offering some live readings focused on helping you heal from your betrayal. No worries if you're catching the replay. It's the same good information and it's the same good energy. So sit back. You found yourself to this video. You know what betrayal is. I want to congratulate you for investing in this time. It's not easy admitting that we've been betrayed, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. So thank you, and thank yourself for being here, trying to better understand why betrayal happens and how we can find ourselves, how we can rise above. Chances are you're here because of something big. Maybe it's infidelity. Maybe it's someone lying to you. And what's really tricky, what's really hard about betrayal is it's from those that we know. It's from those that we love. It's from those that we have community with, that we trust, right? And it just makes it extra. The shock factor, the anger, the disorientation. And I want you to know I was inspired to create this healing space for us because I've been there too. And maybe I'd even rephrase and say, I'm there too. I have many stories of feeling the betrayal, being betrayed by someone else. One example I'm still navigating, 38 years on this planet, is the betrayal of my parents. I grew up in a neglectful environment, and I didn't realize it was neglectful at the time. You know what you know, and we're all told to trust our parents, and our parents know best. And looking back on it, they had both addiction issues, huge mental health issues, and we were living in dysfunction. And as a result, decades later, I navigate complex PTSD because of it. And I'm still unpacking the betrayal. Why didn't they get help? Why did they allow me to live in an unsafe environment? Why did they create an unsafe environment emotionally, sexually, physically? And as a result of them not being the protectors, the role models, the caregivers I needed, I got in a lot of trouble, a lot of dark alleys that I didn't need to be down, sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused outside of them. And so I share that as one example that I'm with you. Betrayal is hard. It is hard when you try to wrap your finger around it. Now, I will say I'm also coming here to you today with an air of lightness. Sure, I get triggered and I'm brought back from the past. And as I said, yes, I'm navigating complex PTSD, and there's certain quirks and ways about me that is neurodivergent now, right? And I'm different because of those lived experiences, but I don't carry the sting anymore. I carry a larger understanding And I don't want to come here and say I'm all kumbaya, because I'm not. Some days, some weeks, some months, I'm more angry than others, more curious, more depressed than others. But I've also found a little breathing room and some healing, and I don't let that betrayal define me, and I don't let it keep chains on who I can be. And what I also try to do when I consider some of the betrayal in my life, including that of my parents, is how did it shape me? Maybe I wouldn't have been the healer that I am today, that gives me so much love and light and purpose, if I hadn't experienced some betrayal. And perhaps this is a nice pause for you too. And depending on how many days or weeks or months it's been, maybe you can't even see the possibility yet, but know it's there. Know it's coming. This has the potential to shape you, to open new doors and new ways of thinking and new ways of healing, new ways of growing, new ways of teaching and expressing yourself in the world. So, betrayal. I want to make sure, now that you understand a little bit about me, I want to make sure that we take more time for you to understand you. And then later in this episode, I'm going to offer you a really fantastic activity that you can do and should do several times a month to make sure that you are healing and not playing victim. And that's so important when we talk about betrayal too. It's easy for us to feel attacked. It's easy for us to feel that we didn't have power, and we don't want to let that breed. We really want to rise above the betrayal, and we want to make sure that we're processing everything so that way we don't have mind, body, soul issues. So how can we do that? One thing I encourage you to do, we need to acknowledge the betrayal. We can't avoid it. We cannot avoid it. So again, you coming into this space is a nice acknowledgement of, yeah, I got hurt. I got hurt. Good for you for showing up. Continue to acknowledge it. If you're still playing in that denial space, get real with yourself. It hurts. Reality effing hurts. It's hard, but it also provides us the opportunity to break patterns. It offers us the opportunity to get on a path that's more clear, that has more clarity and conciseness, in a little bit more, I'm going to stay with the season, even say a little bit more care to it. Sit in the dark. The dark will show you the light. So you have to acknowledge your betrayal, and you can't deny it. Denial's like, oh, he didn't mean to hurt me again. Oh, I deserved it. Oh, it's not that bad. No, that's not going to serve you. It is a short-term Band-Aid. It is an unhealthy way to soothe. You need to feel comfortable with words like betrayal, trauma, infidelity, lies, mistrust. It hurts, but it's so, so important. What I also want you to do on your healing journey is rely on others. This one does not come easy, right? Somebody hurt us, and now here I am saying rely on others. We have this tendency of wanting to go inward, protect ourselves. I'm not letting anybody know my mind or my soul again, right? You know, the information I gave someone was betrayed. They said something they shouldn't have, or I gave my heart to someone and, you know, they stomped on it, right? But the reality is we're not meant to do this thing called life alone. And we need others. Love heals all. Love heals all. And I know you're feeling disoriented. I know you're feeling angry. I know you're feeling protective. Be selective on who you bring in, but bring someone in. bring a few people in, your friend, your brother, your partner, your counselor, right? A call with me, right? Life coach here. You need to rely on others. You're not doing this alone, not meant to. Another hard but needed thing I want to encourage you to explore is lean into your part of the betrayal. This one's really tricky to do. Not saying anything's your fault. There's a difference. There is a distinct difference, right? Not saying, oh, I should have known better, right? That's blame, right? How could I have been so stupid? That's blame. Not asking you to go there. It doesn't serve. No. But what part did you play in it? Did you perhaps not honor your intuition? What was there signs that this wasn't a healthy relationship? Was there a gut feeling that you shouldn't have gone somewhere and you went anywhere, right? Oftentimes betrayal hurts so much because someone else hurt us. And there's usually a part where we hurt ourselves in the process too. We didn't trust their intuition. And so get honest, right? Of, oh, I saw some signs. I felt some things and I didn't act. It's not to get angry with yourself. It's to get aware, because avoiding and denial doesn't serve, right? So once we can understand our part, it comes from a place of power, right? I understand what I did there. I was not willing to see this person's true colors. I'm going to be stronger next time. I'm going to honor my intuition more, right? Comes from a place of power. But the reality is you're here, you're watching this video. There's a part of you that's scared, right? We got hurt and we don't want to get hurt again. And I'll tell you, getting honest with what part you might have played in this. Maybe there was nothing you could have done, but just even spending some time with that, getting a little honest on what part you played will help ensure you're not going to get hurt again, or not like this, right? That you've learned. And then forgiveness. I'm giving it all to you, and it's hard. It's hard. This is heavy. I'm feeling it. I'm sure you're feeling it, but this is the good and needed stuff. I know those of you who come and visit Onwards regularly hear me say it almost every episode. It is the cracks in our heart that let the light shine through, and that is so true. We need to forgive someone else, and we need to forgive ourselves. Now, when I say forgiveness, that doesn't mean you need to welcome the person or people back into your life again. That doesn't mean that you need to condone what they did or how they did it. But that gripping of anger doesn't serve. It hurts you. You're a beautiful vessel, and you need to be operating high vibe, healthy. This world is hard, as we know, right? Again, another reason we're here. World is hard, right? It doesn't serve for you to continue to put anger and toxic vibes and feelings into you. It's not going to help you in your relationships. It's not going to help you on your soul journey. It's not going to help you at work, right? It's not going to help you achieve your goals. You need to forgive. Cut energetic cords with the people involved and forgive as best as you can, and you got to let it go. And you have to forgive yourself, right? You're a different person today than you were yesterday. Whatever hand you had in this, you have to forgive yourself. You know, when I think of betrayal on a soul level, it gets interesting, because on a human level, yeah, betrayal is real. We feel it. It hurts. But on a soul level, I have to wonder, does betrayal really exist? It's something to ponder. It gives me a little peace when I consider it. When I think of my soul self, I know that I am 100% love and light, and I know I came here to learn. And so any experience, whether it's hard, whether it's unexpected, whether it's tragic, gives me the soul growth and the added empathy and love and tools I need for my soul growth. And if I think about it like that, I'm like, does betrayal exist? We're here to learn, right? And maybe on a soul level, I needed these experiences to be the best version of myself. So just another tool, right? If you're having a hard time with that concept of forgiveness, maybe try to get outside the human self and think about these things a little bit bigger. We also want to, when we're navigating betrayal, when we're healing from betrayal, really understand that this person's action, these people's action, it's a reflection on them. It's not a reflection on you. And again, I'm not saying you can't be aware of your part, but the person chose to lie. The person chose to live a lie. The person chose to hurt you. They made that decision. That's them. We're not responsible for how someone decides to act and behave. And it's important that you remove yourself a bit from that responsibility. This is fact. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it is fact. Only we get to decide how we move and how we behave and how we speak. And sure, things influence us. But at the end of the day, that person decided, they made a decision. And it in many ways, it has nothing to do with you in the best way possible. In the best way possible. So recovery, you need to rebuild yourself. You're here. You don't like the way you're feeling. I get it. I get it. So let's rebuild. Let's invest some time in you. Big thing to do, figure out what your triggers are and try to minimize being exposed to them, right? You know, if the boyfriend did something that really hurt you and you've broken up, it's time to toss his clothes. It's time to donate his clothes. It's time to, you know, have a friend of his pick them up, you know, just a small example, right? We can't be living with these triggers. Sometimes they're unavoidable. Sometimes someone will say something. Sometimes we'll see something. Sometimes we can't even identify what the trigger is. All of a sudden, we just feel it in our bones. But do what you can to move forward and to minimize whatever those triggers are. Same thing, right? It might be good for you before you watch a television show or a movie, kind of understand what the content is, right? If there's infidelity in it, for an example, and this is something that you've come to Onwards for, right, this episode, maybe you shouldn't be watching shows that have infidelity. That might be a trigger for you, right? Not saying you don't ever watch those shows, but you might need some recovery time. Emotional recovery, what's the plan? What's the plan? So important, right? What are you going to do for healing? Is it yoga? Is it life coach? Is it therapy? Is it weekly girl night out sessions, right? Is it journaling? Is it self-help books? Is it more hikes? Whatever that emotional recovery looks like, put together a plan. Put together a plan. It's top priority. It is necessity for you to recover from your betrayal. And consider, how can you support others going through what you're going through? I'm here today, honestly, a little bit of a selfish side of me. I feel whole. I feel healing happen when I make purpose of my pain. And so to come here and to share my lived experiences and to offer you ways in which you can rise above, that's healing to me. So how can you be an ear to someone who's also navigating and healing from betrayal? Maybe specifically in your space, whether you were physically abused or lied to or cheated on or whatever that situation was. Think about that. Think about that. What we don't want to do, so important. We don't want to obsess. I know it's easier said than done. My mind has this very compulsive part where I want to just overthink, replay, overthink, replay. It doesn't serve us. It exhausts us. It makes us feel like we have control, but we don't. Gosh, maybe I'll do an episode just on that. But for now, be aware. Again, be honest with yourself. Are you obsessively thinking about this scenario? What could I have done? How could she have done that? How could they have done that? Right? If you're obsessing, I get it. We need to come out of that, right? We need to come out of that. And so what can we do? Change the energy. Change the energy. If you're thought looping, get up, go wash the dishes, get up, start clapping, change the energy. Put on a high vibing podcast, maybe put on the TV to distract yourself from the obsessing. Movement's good. Maybe you have a stress ball. Maybe you go to a kickboxing class. You need to get out of that vicious cycle. And revenge does not serve you, right? It feels so good in the moment sometimes, right? I want ill will on this person and this is going to happen. But even look at my face as I say that. It's low vibing. It's nasty, and it takes a lot of energy out of us. You daydreaming about revenge or ill will happening on someone, it is not the vibe that you want with you. The best way to get the energy of a situation or person away from us is to rise above, right? Like attracts like. So if we're in this stuck kind of an energy, well, guess what? The stuckness of the situation and life is really going to cling to us. So be very aware. And this is also where a mental health professional can help. These things take time, by the way. There's no timeline. Sometimes we can feel a sense of relief after a few days, after a few weeks. Sometimes, depending on how deep the trauma is of betrayal, sometimes it takes years. And I say that with love too, is just be aware and gentle with yourself as it relates to this healing process. And where I want to close with you is offering you that activity that I suggested, because as we're healing from betrayal, it's really important that we don't fall into I'm a victim, right? Because when we fall into that mentality of we're a victim, it comes from a place of I don't have power. And when we come from a place of I don't have power, well, how are you going to navigate your life? How are you going to feel that sense of control and peace and happiness that you're searching for? So really easy activity. And this is a great one to do regularly. Grab a piece of paper, just a regular piece of paper, fold it in half. On one side of the piece of paper, I want you to put the word victim. And on the other side of the piece of paper, I want you to put the word healing. So you're going to have two columns. You're going to have victim and healing. And maybe once a week, maybe you kind of do a rhythm like every Saturday morning. Get honest with yourself. Reflect on the week. What activities did you do that demonstrates your healing, right? I donated the boyfriend's clothes. I went to a yoga class. I scheduled a call with a life coach. I sang in the shower for the first time in months. I started a garden, right? Like whatever that is, put that down, right? What are you doing to foster some healing in your life? And then get honest with yourself. Reflect on the last week. What did you do that is creating some victim energy, right? That might be you reflecting and saying, I spent 3 hours on the phone telling my friend I don't like my life, telling my friend that nothing ever works out for me, telling my friend that the world is hopeless, right? So that could be an example of victim. Now, not that we shouldn't be leaning on our friends. I said that earlier, we should. But 3 hours in this mode of powerless might qualify you to be on the victim list, right? So it's get honest with yourself. Only you know that. You know the intent, you know the spirit of that kind of an engagement. Did you overdrink, right? Like a victim, right? For me, I'm gonna drink my sorrows away, I'm gonna self-sabotage, right? So put those there too to get honest with yourself. The hope is you have plentiful healing activities and behaviors and thoughts, and that the victim list gives you that clarity you need to say, okay, I don't want to be a victim. And you don't. That's why you're here, right? I know you don't. And so it's a nice way for you to make sure you're staying on track and to get honest with yourself, and to move forward. Please let me know if you take the time to do this activity. I'd love to hear your results and what the rhythm and the clarity gave you as it relates to your betrayal healing journey. Know I'm sending you all sorts of love and light. Please follow me. I'm Dr. Danielle Clark. I am on Instagram. You can find me Dr. Danielle Clark, psychic medium. I have a blog on drdanielleclark.com. Please sign up. Make sure you like my YouTube channel. Stay connected. Stay connected. We have found each other for a reason. I'm glad that I can be of service. I'm glad I can give you some love and light on this really difficult journey of yours. If I can do anything for you, please let me know. I'm available for you for one-on-ones. I have an office in Tampa, Florida, and I also do Zoom and I do phone calls. So with that, just know you're not alone. No, you're not alone. No, I'm here for you. No, there's many others there for you. And remember, it's the cracks in your heart that let the light shine through. And although time doesn't necessarily heal all, makes it feel different, just know that this is a point in time. It's going to feel different and things will be different. I'm sending you love and light. Be well, be well. Bye. Take care.